Hey guys, I'm Mel.
And I'm Krista.
And this is Just the Tips. So today on Just the Tips, we are going to be going over some tips for your family photos after the ceremony. So normally we will do all of your family photos right after the ceremony while everyone is still very close by, and it's super convenient. You can use your archway and it looks very pretty in photos. So your family photos are really important. They're going to be memories that you will cherish for the rest of your lives together.
So the first step to having a fast and easy family photo taking process is to make a list. So we actually include this group shot list in a welcome packet that we give to all of our clients. So we normally recommend to our couples that they include their family members from their grandparents down to their nieces and nephews.
Sometimes our clients will come back to us with huge shot lists, and a lot of times they don't necessarily realize how tiring and daunting that can be right after your wedding ceremony. So when you're making your shot list, I would definitely take into consideration that you should allow about 2 to 3 minutes per family group. So that would be about 12 to 15 shots in half an hour. If you're looking at 30 shots or more, that can take up to an hour. So if you are thinking of having a lot of family photos, a good alternative is to actually do table photos at your reception, which we will talk about a little bit later on in the video.
Another way to make this go nice and easy is to let the family members know that they're gonna be in the photos ahead of time so that they know to stick around. And on top of that, it's always a great idea to remind them. So let your officiant know after the ceremony finishes to announce that the immediate family members can stick around for some photos and the rest of your guests can be released to cocktail hour.
Our next tip is to have a family shot list person to help organize everyone. So it's actually even better if you can have two, one from each side of the family to help gather everyone for the family photos, and it's also helpful if they know what your family members look like.
Sometimes I'm just out there like, Uncle Bob, yelling, and I have no idea who Uncle Bob is, so I'm just yelling into the void, and what she's saying is way easier than that. Another great idea, so everybody is comfortable, is to knock out the big groups first. So if you want your whole mom side of the family in one photo, it might be a good idea to do that first so that everyone can get released that aren't going to be in more singular photos. Another good idea is to take the pictures with your grandparents and little children in the beginning. That way they can go into AC and they can sit down and relax. Lastly, if you have people like Uncle Bob who you know wants to go to the bar already, it might be a great idea to put him towards the beginning too so he doesn't wander away and I'm not yelling for him again. So a little side tip would be if a baby's not looking in one of the photos, anybody else who's in the photo shouldn't be trying to get his attention because then they're just bending over and talking and we still can't get the photo. So just leave it to the photographers to get the baby's attention. And everybody else, just stand there and smile. That way, in that small moment when the baby looks, we can just snap it right away.
So a little bit earlier, we had mentioned table photos and that we said we would talk about it again at the end of the video. So what we are talking about when we say table photos is at your reception, we will usually have our couples sit either if they have a sweetheart table or just right on the dance floor. And each one of your guests, as they are escorted to the buffet line, they'll be grouped up by tables and then take a photo with you and them. So this is usually what we suggest as the best way to make sure that you have photos with all of your guests. And it becomes a really nice keepsake for them too, that they can have.
On top of that, when you're making your table groups, you're normally putting friends or family groups together. So when they come up, it's the perfect grouping.
As a side note for the table photos, one thing to also consider is that usually this will happen during dinner, and that tends to also be the time that sunset is happening. So you would probably need to decide to which would you prefer to do, go out for sunset photos or do table photos.
It kind of just depends on you as a couple and what is really more important to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, you can subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and if you have any questions that you'd like us to go over, just leave it in the comments down below.
And that's a wrap. I'm Mel.
And I'm Krista, and this is Just the Tips.